social media by my good friend Mr. Ahmed Hussein, that's our brand manager.
السلام عليكم. صوت واضح ورا؟ طيب انا عارف ان دي اخر سيشن وغالبا كلكم تعبتوا خلاص، هنحاول نخليها خفيفه وسريعه ان شاء الله. تعالوا نتكلم عن السوشيال ميديا بطريقه مختلفه. السوشيال ميديا ناس كتير بتاخد ان هي فكره ادفرتايزنج او كامبينز على الفيسبوك على التويتر، او ان انا عندي تويتر وفيسبوك اكونت ويوتيوب خلاص انا كده بقى عندي سوشيال ميديا. تعالوا نفكر بطريقه ثانيه. لو هنشوف مثلا برجر كينج وماكدونالدز عايزين يعملوا كامبين مع بعض او ضد بعض، فيجي حد زي برجر كينج يقول ان ماكدونالدز بياكل من عنده، بيروح ياخد برجر من برجر كينج. طبعا ده حاجه مش حقيقيه والناس مش هتصدقها، بس هي الفكره ان انا بحاول ابيع فكره معينه. فمشكله الادفرتايزنج ان هي مش تروثفول 100%، مش دايما هي الحقيقه. الموضوع ده اتاخد تو اكستريم شويه في فيلم اسمه براندد. الفيلم ده كانت فكرته مجنونه، بيصور البراند او الادفرتايزنج على انه مخلوق كده راكب على الشخص، والبراند ده كل ما شخص بيعدي قدام البراند فهو عدى ما اشتراش فبيشد. دي الماركتنج مسجز والادفرتايزنج. الادفرتايزنج بيثبت في الدماغ، بيخلي الواحد عايز يروح اشتري الحاجه دي، انا عايز الموضوع ده. هنا ده الطفل بيقول لمامته انا عايز اشتري برجر ده، بعدين يروح يشتري. فاللي بيحصل ان هو عمليه الشراء دي نفسها بتوصل ان هي بتقوي البراند. في فوق البراند كده حاجه مخلوق كبير كده، ده البراند بيجمد او بيكبر كل ما حد يشتري او كل ما حد بيسمع كلام الاعلان او البراند ده. مشكله ان جم الناس بتوع البرجر ابتدى الماركت بتاعهم او الماركت شير يقل عشان الهيلثي فود. الناس ابتدت تخاف من البرجر وابتدت تاكل هيلثي فود اكتر، والبرجرز ما بقتش لاقيه اي مجال ليها ان هي تشتغل. فاللي حصل ان هم راحوا للجورو اوف ادفرتايزنج اند ماركتنج وعمل لهم كامبين رهيبه جدا، لدرجه ان الناس بعد 6 سنين، يمكن دي مش واضحه قوي بس بعد خلال 6 سنين مثلا بقت السوبر هيروز كلهم مليانين ومحدش بيفكر في الفكر الهيلثي والكلام ده، والبرجرز بقت منتشره جدا. فالناس بتوع الهيلثي فود عملوا حاجه العكس، جم قالوا ان اللحمه اللي في البرجر دي بايظه تماما، وعملوا جهاز كده بيقيس البرجر دي سليمه ولا لا، وابتدوا يطلعوها ان هي مش سليمه. فطلع الناس الثانيه برضه بتوع البرجر راحوا دفعوا فلوس للراجل ده يقول بيف ستيل سيف ستيل تيستي وبياكل البرجر او is eating the burger. الموفي او this movie talks about the culture انجليزي. This movie talks about this brands, how every brand is growing bigger and bigger, and there are wars between each brand. And as we saw these creatures in the beginning, so we'll see a small part what happened next in the movie. Brands started having war together. This is the healthy food egg. And the price to fight burgers. So eventually, the creature has become very strong. So he's going to fight the burger creature and he's going to kill it. This is Apple. Versus Microsoft, and it became a big war between brands. Everybody's fighting, everybody's saying, everybody's doing advertising, and survival to the strongest in it. Coca-Cola. what happened is people started not believing in advertising only. So they're trying to attack advertising and banning advertising. Of course, this is very factionist and it's very extreme. Advertising will never die and it has to stay. But how does social media fit in? How does social media help advertising to overcome that perception? People don't really believe 100% in advertising alone. If you want to buy a car, for example, and you find a very good advertising in the newspaper, and if you're going to buy it and somebody tells you, no, maintenance is bad, I brought this car and it was not very good, etc., what will happen is you start thinking and rethinking, no, I should not buy this car. So it's a word of mouth that's stronger than advertising alone. So social media's power is that it's not advertising or marketing messages. It's not online campaigns. An average person can see almost about 5,000 advertising messages per day. That's too much, so eventually the mind blocks that out. Also, social media is about people talking together, sharing information online, and using publicly accessible platforms. So what happens is, I know what people are talking about, what people are thinking, so I can target what they like, what their needs. I can target people with sales on what they like, so they'll be interested. So can anyone do this? Is it easy to do social media? Well, first, it's not enough to just have a Facebook or Twitter or YouTube platform. You have to, it's not one size fits all. You have to make it for yourself. You have to have goals and understand what you want to do. Second, it's on air. If there is a big problem or any even slight problem, it can grow and grow and you'll have no way to stop it. That's social media, it's on air. What's out is out. Third thing is, the key to success is not known, but the key to failure is trying to please everybody. So, the problem with social media is you have different camps. People will tell you this is right, and other people tell you no, that's wrong. And you know there is a story in the culture about Goha and his donkey. And they were both riding the donkey. And people said the wicked man, they're both on the donkey. So the wife went down and only the man stayed. So they said, selfish man, he rides on the donkey while his wife tracks. So they swapped, and it was a stupid man leaving his wife riding the donkey. So they both left the donkey and they were clueless. They don't even know how to ride the donkey. So that idea will show you that you'll never be able to please everyone. You have to have an idea about how you respond and what your goals are. Again, social media is also not about return on investment. It's more about customer satisfaction, engagement, and retention. I can't say I'll pay $1 for social media, so I'll get 10 customers. No, it's not like that. You'll pay for social media to retain your current customers, to make sure they're satisfied and to understand what they're saying and have free market research. The last part is content is the new democracy, and we as people are ensuring our voices heard. That's said by Brian Solis. He wrote a book called The Social Media Manifesto, and that means that everybody is using the power of social media to start saying his mind. So if I don't like a brand, or if I like a brand, I will talk about it freely. Nobody will be able to stop me. So as a brand, I have to be there to listen and to respond. Okay, let's talk about Tatler. What we do. First, we don't work as only campaign or only social media. If you work only as a campaign, what happens is we drive paid advertising, and that grows a lot of fans. And then once the campaign has finished, fans just go away because there is no content that would keep the people there. If you work as social media only, what will happen is it will take a lot of time to gain critical mass of fans to start actually moving fast. So we try a good combination of digital media advertising, social media engagement, and actually we work with the content to see what you have and come up with something very interesting and engaging for the fans. Our methodology is to start with goal, strategy, then execution, and then measure what's happening. The goal is basically we sit with the client and have an initial brief with him and understand what he wants, what is his campaign, what's his PR doing, and so on. And then when we go to strategy, some of the service we offer is strategy creation. We build the strategy with your marketing and PR team, online strategy. We analyze your brand, we see competitor analysis, what people in your industry are doing. And we choose platforms for you. You can have a social media campaign or social media engagement without actually having a Facebook page or Twitter account. And that's possible. Most cases you will have those platforms. What I mean, you don't have to stick to one size fits all, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on, and ignore what you actually need. We can also integrate with other channels together. You can have Pinterest, for example, inside Facebook. You can have Google Plus, you can have Twitter widgets, you can have Facebook, and so on, integrated with your website, link everything together, and so on. After that, we come to the execution phase, where we can help building your platforms. We can build applications on Facebook, build any platforms you need, design, and so on. We do the community engagement for you. That is, we provide people to actually respond and add content and so on for your clients and fans. And we handle your reputation management. So if you have some fan coming and saying, I'm not happy with your brand and so on, we work with him and talk with him to bring a satisfied fan in the end. This is an example of some applications and tabs we did for Rayyan TV in Qatar. That's live streaming tab, a wallpaper gallery tab, for example, for Qatar Tourism Authority. And this is the location tab, so people would know where your location is. This is also another example of some applications and tabs, games, and so on. So we can actually help and build such applications for you. We also put sort of a wireframe to show what will happen in responding to fans. So we can have a dialogue like that, saying, if I have the answer, I will tweet or respond to fans on Facebook, for example. If not, we will walk through with whatever policy with your marketing team, PR team, and put in place a strategy on how to respond to your fans. We actually also create live content and package that content to be branded. So if you have an event, you have something like that, like this event, we actually go and create content and make videos and pictures, and live on site we actually brand them and put them online. This is an example of responding to people. So this was on Facebook, and some fan was not really satisfied. He thought that we posted that post very late, and we started talking with him till the end. He actually was happy and made a like for our post after the conversation. These are other examples from Twitter. And actually, this was somebody who was really pissed off. He said, whatever brand sucks, how can it be part of so on? And in the end, after about 30 minutes, if you look at the date, he said how much my hate for my ISP has been eased by the cool person behind the account. So dialogue with any fan really pays off. This is another example. For example, somebody was complaining that the toilets didn't have any light or water in some event, and in the end, he was actually very happy because we followed up and knowing people are just listening and responding to him, and so on. So actually responding to people is not just saying anything. You have to have a plan and strategy on what to do, and we can help with that part also. In the end, after I do all this, I have to know if this is really working for me or not. So we actually provide some measurement tools to have insights and reports and to measure the sentiment. Sentiment means if people are happy or unhappy with your brand, and to what extent. And this is not only on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, or on your own social platforms, that's on all of the internet. So for example, we can measure over time what's happening to your fans, are they growing or not? And actually how the trends are going. So we can have, by this date we know what happened, and at this date we know what happened, and we know what would make your fans' trend grow more. You can actually see what time of day and what days are people interacting with me more. So actually to either focus differently on other days to make them more interactive, or to post the most important content when people are actually listening to my brand. We can actually see which people are interacting more with my brand. So I can have contests, I can provide sneak peeks for them, I can provide them with behind the scenes, and I know they will interact with me because I actually am listening to them and seeing who is really following my brand and interacting with me and being sort of an advocate for my brand. Here we can see how much positive or negative my brand is doing over a period of time. So I can actually measure how many people are actually happy, which is the green part, and how many people are actually angry from my brand, and that is over time. So I can understand what's happening and when, and see how I can avoid that in the future. If you prefer to have that in-house and have your own team, we can provide the training and consultancy for all this methodology and all these ideas to make your own team able to provide the same level of service that we can provide for you. So, does that really work? Is all what we're saying really work in the end? Well, this one is an example we took from Qatar Tourism Authority, and they have been there for almost 2 years with only up to 700 fans on Facebook. And they had the last Eid celebrations, and we took over, and within 2 weeks, we reached almost 13,000 fans on the Facebook page from 700. And it's not only about the numbers, it's not only campaign. If we look here, for example, the numbers are not really clear on this screen, but while they were about 5,000 fans, there were about also 5,000 engagement talking about fans. So the people on the page are not just there, they're actually engaging with us and liking and sharing and posting to their own friends what content we're putting. This is another example, and again the numbers are not clear here, but I've written down again. So this is a Qatar Motor Show, and this was the official page of the Qatar Motor Show, and this was the Qatar Tourism Authority for the Motor Show event. And what happened is, although they had 36,000 fans, only about 4,000 were interacting with them. And while we had less fans at the time, 20,000, 16,000 of them were interacting with us because our own methodology gave more interaction than the actual official page for the Motor Show. This is another example during the Handball World Championships in January. Spain had their own official page, and it had reached for over a year. I don't know how they just stayed at this number, but they reached around 8,000 people, and only 5,000 were being interacted with. And we took over mid-January, and by the end of January, the Qatar Handball page, which is 2 years from now, was actually talking about Spain's championship, and we exceeded the number of fans, and the engagement was actually more than the number of fans. And all this in 2 weeks. Lastly, this is an example of kind of post. Okay, that would bring a lot of shares and a lot of likes, but posting it at the right moment and knowing when to post it would actually bring that over around 4,000 shares and around 20,000 likes, and I think that was 4,000 comments or something like that. And that was around 3 hours from posting. So knowing when to do what exactly brings a total different level of engagement with your fans. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Ahmed. Any questions, guys, for Ahmed? I have a question for Ahmed.